Hello and welcome to another video in my Web API.NET Basics tutorial series. As always, go ahead and follow me on GitHub, visit my website, and if you have any questions, don't forget to email me. Right then, so in the previous video, we saw how we can go ahead and integrate the NASA API, a third-party API, into our API code, and that worked beautifully. The next thing what I want to do is, let me get a new drawing for this. So what I want to do is, see, so far, we have seen the output in the developer console. We've seen the output in the previous videos in the Swagger. We've seen the output in the Postman. But still, though, you'll see here that the NASA APOD is constantly giving us an image. So if I click on this, hold on, sorry. If I click on this, I see here that NASA APOD is constantly giving us an image. So this is the image they're sending us, but we are not able to actually see the image. We know the image is there in the API response. We know the image is there in the NASA API response as well. But how do we see it? Now, this is where we need to build a front end. This is where we need to build any kind of front end. So in my case, as I've explained before, I'm not a UI person, but I do know some basics of UI. So for my purposes in all these tutorials and also in my demo projects, I'm using Razor MVC web app. So what we'll do in this specific tutorial is we are going to try and consume the API directly in our Razor MVC web app and using some of the code that is already written. So let's do that. So as always, I have my work diary here. Okay, and the next project is going to be a Razor MVC web app. And we are going to consume the API directly. So I'm going to call this project Razor MVC web app. And I'm going to call this direct consumption. Okay, direct API consumption, which means I'm trying to take the data directly from the NASA API, not from the API that I have built. I want to do that as well eventually. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say stop running this project. And I'm going to minimize this. I might need the code later. So I'm going to open another Visual Studio instance and create a new project. And I want to use ASP.NET Core Web App MVC version. And I want to give the title. The location is going to be the repository that I'm sharing with you guys. So there you go. And I want to say next, .NET 8, everything looks great. And I want to say create, and we have the project here. Now before we go ahead, I want to make sure all the readmes are updated. No, they aren't. Let's go ahead and fix that. So far I have 3 projects, so let's go ahead. The first project is called, the second one is called Web API, right? And the third project is called Razor MVC. Let's update that as well. Very nice. Now, have I put README files for everything? No, I haven't. I don't like it when I don't put a README file. Let me fix that right away. Even if I don't put too much information, I still want to put something in the README file. I don't like it, not having a README file. So it doesn't look good. So, okay, there we go. And then this also, let's go ahead and put a README file. When you create a new project, it's a good habit to put a README file. Even if you don't have any information to put right now, it makes it looks nice. It definitely makes it looks nice. So there we go. Okay, README, everything looks nice. Okay. If you don't want to do that, that's okay. If you don't want to use the the learning diary that I'm using, again, totally fine. So let's go ahead and quickly rebuild. We make sure we have all the MVC. It's there, and let's go ahead and start. And it's great. It seems to be working just fine. So what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and create a new view. Okay, so I want to show this. So what I'll do is I'll go to the home controller, and here I'm going to say I'm going to copy one of the existing things. It's my keyboard. Some of the keys, they get stuck sometimes. I think the keyboard is getting old, so I gotta take care of that. And here I'm going to say show NASA APOD. Right, so I'm just going to call that show NASA OD API. So if I then, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and build this and rebuild it. Okay, and then I am going to go ahead and run this. I have the web app here, I have the code here. So what I want to do is, I'm just going to try to, let's go ahead and put some navigation. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay. First thing is I want to go to shared. I want to add a link here. There we go. I'm going to just copy paste this here. So I'm not really good with UI, but I know some basic things, just enough to get my work done. Nothing fancy. So this is the name of the view. So we have to put that in the action, and we'll put that here as well. Save, reload, and not coming. Yeah, the hot reload doesn't work every time. It's so let's just start that again. It doesn't work every time. There it is. So if I click on this, it says, oh, there's no view. So I have the path. You can see here the path is fine, but the view is not there. So let's fix that. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to say home, and here I'm going to say right click, add view, and the spelling is really important here. So I want to get the spelling right. So razor view empty, and I'm going to call this one again. Just make sure the name is correct. So it's show. I don't think uppercase, lowercase matters, but I don't want to take any risks here. So that seems to be correct. Show NASA APOD, add, and it's currently empty. And here I'm just going to say H1. Yeah, H1. Here we will show the NASA APOD information. Okay, let's try it out. So I'm going to run this again. I have the web app link. Okay, so the basic navigation is working. It doesn't look very pretty. I agree with you. I'm not a UI person again. I think I'll say that in every video, but it's functional. That's all we care about. So next thing what I want to do is I want to go ahead and call the NASA API. Now in this specific video, we are doing direct consumption. So we are going to call the NASA API directly from the NASA. In the next video, I will try to consume my own API, right? So let's do that. So once again, we'll go to the view. Let's stop running this code. Go to the home controller. Now this is where all the code is going to come, right? So where is our code? We already have our code from the previous project. So I'm going to go to my API here, and I'm just going to copy this whole thing like a real. There you go. So I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to dump the whole thing. Now we are going to get some red lines. We'll figure it out. First thing is I don't have this class. So I'm going to once again go to the models folder, and here I'm going to right click, and I'm going to add a new class just like I did in the API project from the previous video. And I'll go back to the API project, take this, copy this, and put this in this project. So you'll see that this class was created in the first video where we did the console project, and we are able to reuse it. So this is very, very important. So please get used to the habit of reusing things. It will really speed up your development process, and it will reduce the amount of errors you might make. So let's keep going here. So I see that the one red line is gone, and this one, I think this has to be we are getting a complaint about this being an async operator. So here it says make method async. So there you go. That part is done. 2 red lines gone. The last thing is this package. Of course, we installed it in the previous 2 videos. We'll do the same thing here as well. Everything is gone. Very, very nice. So what we'll do here is now I have all this. Looks great. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to put a breakpoint once again, and I'll put another breakpoint here. So far so good. I'm going to build this, rebuild, and I am going to run this project. And I'm going to click on the navigation. It's triggered. Good, good, good. And here I'm going to click continue anyway, because the code is already tested. I don't have to worry too much. And if I go and check my response, I see that I have all the information, and I click on continue. It's still empty because we haven't passed the data to our view. So let's try it out. I'm going to come here, and I'm going to say view response. Okay. And now what I need to do is I'm going to go here, and I'm going to say at model, and here I am going to say response. And now I must get like some kind of a, why, usually we'll get like a error or something like that. Model response seems to be okay. Right, let me try to do that. So here I'm going to say paragraph. Okay, and then I am going to say at response dot, oh, it's not taking it though. Let's try to understand. Response does not exist. Should we just call this model? Let's see. No suggestions. Okay, let's see, why is that getting an error? Let's try to understand. This is something I've noticed as well. Okay, why is that? Now this is something which always bothers me, like I said, I'm not a very big UI guy. Let's try to understand. So another thing I was talking about, these videos are being made raw, so if I get stuck, I get stuck, and we'll see how. So let's try to understand here. So I have my view, and here I'm showing, yes, so I'm showing this. I have model, this one. Okay, so I need to use the class name. Okay, all right. So here I'm going to say at model, and here, oh, there we go. And here I have to say this. Keep forgetting this. I keep forgetting this. That does it. Okay, all right. So here I guess I'm going to say at model. So I'm going to say model dot, there it is. It's working. I got worried there. I'm not good with AI, UI. I always forget even the most basic things. So that seems to be working fine. Let's check it out. So I'm going to once again build rebuild, and let's run this. Okay, and okay, here we go. Continue. Response has everything. See if it works. Look at that. It's working. The title is coming. So what should we do next? Let's show the photo, right? So I'm going to go to the page here, and I am going to say img. Okay, and then I'm going to say source. Now the source is going to be at model.url. Okay, and let's do this. Okay, let's continue. Should work. There it is. The image is coming. Okay, the image is a little too big for the page, which is fine. I think it's still loading. That's why we have the load. There you go. It's fully loaded. Looks okay. Looks really okay. Yes. Let's just make this a little bigger. Very nice, very nice. So next thing what I want to do is, along with the image, I want to show some other details as well. So I'll go back here to the layout. Let me disable the breakpoints. Let's disable the breakpoints. I'll go here, and next thing I want to show is the let's see, another paragraph, and I'm going to say model dot explanation. So I want that to come. I'm going to save this, reload. There we go. There it is. This seems to be working fine. So yeah, that's all I wanted. So if I go back again, home, it's good. Show APOD, click on this, it works. So this is all I wanted to do. So there you go. So that's a simple demo for you. So where I wanted to once again use the NASA APOD API, build a web app to show the information, because till now we haven't seen the images. We just saw it on the console. We just saw it in JSON format, but now you're seeing it. The image is actually visible. So when we consume the REST API, we directly consume it, which means the web app is directly talking to the NASA API, which is fine in a lot of scenarios. Okay, and of course we are using the HTTP library, the same library we've been using for the last 3 videos. So everything looks good here. So that's all there is to it with this specific one.